Hello everyone, I'm Silverraptor and welcome to another Wargame Red Dragon deck creation video. So in that last video, we got to see me trying out the French nation in action, as we did sort of a flank attack in that game. But now we're going to go to the next comment on the person who requested a deck that I should create, and something that's been requested the most as we currently recording this video is the Red Dragon Mechanized Deck. And I actually haven't made a Red Dragon Mechanized, but I did have one pretty awesome Red Dragon Marines deck, and I might just do that in the future as well, show you off how I created that. But let's go and make this Red Dragon mechanized. So let's do this properly. Red for Red Dragon, and they want us to be mechanized. And we're going to put the Korean buffer area. There we go. Korean buffer area, because China doesn't want NATO on its doorstep, and so North Korea has to suffer for that. But let's go and create this. So logistics tab. We're going to put a Chinese fob purely because North Korea probably will have a little bit of trouble supplying such, just from an American perspective. It might not entirely be true, but who knows. Supply, we do get the MI6, but before we do that, let's go and think about CVs. So these two are exactly the same, and they're pretty decent. I mean, they just have a different color scheme, but there's not a whole lot of options. Kind of disappointed with that, with the mechanized, but staying with the mechanized trait. I kind of like the Chinese look a little better with its green pattern. Next up, let's get the MI6. This is definitely going to be good for helicopter supply, and definitely a lot more than the MI4. And now we need to choose between these two cargo trucks. Let's get the North Korean. I mean, they're exactly the same. Let's get the North Korean cargo truck because we're mostly Chinese here, and it's nice to have a little bit of difference and variety in stuff that doesn't make any difference. Infantry tab. Let's see. So we've got lots of infantry. I do have an idea of what I want, but just looking in on this, we definitely want some Liege 1s. At least 190s for sure. I'll probably add those to the list. They're basically our Spetsnaz, Tankish Shashaos, Yukwanday, probably not. Zangshis. Interesting. Now I'm going to compare these to the Boshang-Sus, and interesting. The Boshang-Sus are actually... Oh, wait, I'm not comparing apples to apples. I'm comparing apples to oranges. These Zangshi to the Boshang-Su. Now that we're comparing apples to apples, it looks like the Boshang-Su are slightly better. They've got more accuracy and a higher rate of fire. Yes, they have slightly less accuracy or range on their light machine gun, but these are going to be our close quarters combat group anyway. Okay. So I am definitely going to get the Boshang-Sus and these VTT-323 Haswan Chongs. Now I love these APCs so much. I used these back before they made those missiles to Iglas when they were crappy, like 30% accuracy missiles for AA, and mainly because my idea was you're bringing these in stacks of 4. Any helicopter that gets within range is going to be shot down because 4 30% accuracy missiles, one of those is bound to hit. And surprisingly, it was working out pretty well. He was even shooting down airplanes that flew over it with that low accuracy. And they had more missiles than the 4 that are here now, so they still went through missiles like crazy with a very fast rate of fire. Basically, any plane that flew over them, it would fire 2 missiles regardless of how fast the plane is. And those machine guns rip enemy infantry to shred, and this is amphibious, so this is a no-brainer. I am definitely going to be taking some of these Boshang-Sus. I'm going to get these guys vetted up. Now, we can get one more Boshang-Su, and we can't get like an ATGM missile. We could get sort of the cheaper variant, or a Korshan. That's interesting. Dang it. Okay, Korshan, Susangpo, Korshan. Korshan's a cannon. Susangpo is just a regular machine gun. Yeah, let's get some Korshans, and we'll get those in basically 24 of those. So we've got maxed out our Boshang-Sus. We can get some flamethrower fire support. Unfortunately, I think, yeah, the faggots are the best ATGM weapons they have. And 16 AP power, that's not going to even penetrate the front armor of an Abrams. So if you come up against the US, you're kind of screwed. So we can't rely on our infantry for ATGM missiles, but we can get the Zhangxi 85s. Mainly due to the fact that they have 20 AP power RPGs. It's kind of our best bet. So let's get these guys vetted up. And now we definitely need some fire support. Like, holy crap, we need fire support. QW1s, we need anti-air there. That's interesting. Iglas, and then just crappy other AA. Okay, so Bibi and Chung Po's fire support, paired up with the tanky Shishao. Well, they're more accurate, but they have a lot less AP power and a lot less range. I think we're going to fill up the last tab with the tanky Shishao. I would get Lijuan 90s, but I wish they came in a better helicopter, or just regular Lijuans. They do have a pretty good fire rate, but we've got regular Lijuan 90s for that, and let's face it, their APGs are not better than the Boshang-Sus, so let's get, the tanky Shishao. Now, which one? This is just completely better. Okay, so we've got a pretty massive infantry tab. So, lots of Zhangxi 85s for their high RPG AP power. Boshang-Su is our main fighter unit. Lijuan 90s because they are just better Spetsnaz. Our AA and our fire support. So that will make up the bulk of our forces since this is a mechanized deck. We've got our infantry squared away. Let's go and start figuring out the AA. Okay, let's compare the Igla to the Pongay 3. So the Pongay 3 has just slightly extra range, but the Igla is kind of more versatile. It can shoot at ground. It's got pretty decent missiles. It's amphibious. Yeah, we're going to do the Igla. Yeah, we're going to get those Iglas. PG7s, or PGZ 95s. That's definitely, yeah, that's going to be our radar AA support. We can get napalm, but I've been unimpressed with that napalm generally. Tokan. Oh, these things are fun with their 7 HE power. We might come back to that. Coxswains. We might get that. Mainly, we're going to kind of rely a bit more on artillery because we don't have any direct damage to enemy aircraft. Hang on. So, missile, gun, spag. What's the difference between the spag and the PZ? 88. It can fire on the move. And it's got a lot better fire rate. Okay, I'll agree with that. Really unimpressed with the AA here. Jeez. kind of surprised. Can these? I'm actually curious about these things. If these can shoot down aircraft that fly over them, they have such a low rate of fire. I think actually the Spags are better. Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? I guess we do kind of are forced to get the Spags just because we don't have very much other AA. No, don't want that. So we do want some coxswains. Any best mortars? These are decent mortars here. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of the Spags. I will get. Which one do I like better? Huh. That's interesting design. Model shape change. We'll get the smaller one because it's slightly camouflaged. And finally, we are actually going to get these guys. I know I'm weird. I am definitely weird, but I do like these guys quite a bit. They just artillery an area continuously. You do need to watch out for counter arty, but that's what we have the coxswains for. But we definitely need to rely on lots of artillery support. So I pity the fool who gets direct infantry engagement with us. We'll pin them down and artillery them from afar. Okay, tanks. How bad is the tank section? Okay, so we've got Chomaho 5s, and the best that the Chinese have is the ZTZ 85-2A. Let's compare. So the Chomaho 5 for 10 points more has 16 front armor. It's got a higher rate of fire. It has less HE power than the ZTZ, but it's and a little less autonomy. But it, I think, is the better tank. So we're going to get those guys for sure. And now we need to look at the North Korean. There we go. We've got some AA tanks as well. Any others? Chomaho. Okay, so Chomaho 4 compared to the Type 59 1B. Okay, so they're both the Strellas. One's a 45-point tank, one is a 60-point tank. For 15 points more, it's got 12 front armor. Nice 7 side armor. Oh, yeah. And max range, 2275 meter main cannon with 50% accuracy, 17 AP power. Okay, we're going to get the Chomaho 4s just before I forget about them. Oh, my God. That's good. That is definitely good. Why is there only one of these cards? Compared to the ZTZ 85, they're more accurate. And they're prototyped. 9 rounds per minute. Yeah, okay. Wait. I want. Yeah. We're going to get these guys hardened. And then we're going to get this trained. Or did we want that reversed? Yeah, we want that reversed. Sorry about that. We want these trained. And then these guys hardened. Because these guys have a really pitiful rate of fire. Let's see. And to finalize up, we are definitely going to be getting our ZTS. Because these guys are damn good. Damn good tanks. Alright, so we've got a lot of tanks. Let's look at the recon. Definitely first thing I want to grab is the M1992 because this is like the best ATGM the North Koreans can get, and it's also very good optics with a frag grenade. Definitely want that. Do I want hardened? Get 50% accuracy. Now we want more of these, I think. Brom 2, not as good. Lee Rents, we'll probably get some of those. Definitely get this tank as well. So we've got plenty of tank. Get some Lee Rents hardened. And might get, yeah, let's throw in some one. So if that's the case, we don't need these in helicopters. We can get these with a recon truck. Of course we should. Okay. So we'll put that there. We'll put these guys here. So it's like vehicle. And there we go. This will do. So we've got infantry with vehicle, wheeled, tracked helicopter. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, vehicle tab. What are we gonna do with this? It's all pretty. It's all not really good. Let's compare the PTZ 89 to the PTZ 59. 59 is more of like a tank. We don't need tank. We need AP power. We've got plenty of tanks. Decent front armor. Yeah, yeah, okay. We don't need the PTZ. We need the 89. Definitely want the 12. Okay, good, good. And are you kidding? We don't get access to the anti-air helicopter from the Chinese. Oh, well, that sucks. Okay, we're going to need some vetted up Mi-25s. Just some kind of attack helicopter. We'll need some vetted up dedicated anti-tank because we are very light on heavy anti-tank. And to sum it all up, we need... I could spam these guys. These guys are good for nice spam. And we'll come back to that. Let's look at the aircraft. So B5, we definitely want at least one B5 because you would not play North Korea as part of the nation without taking a B5. Are you crazy? I mean, I know I am, but okay. J7H. Don't really need. Well, we kind of do. Fabeo. Get two of those. The MiG-29. Now, this is an interesting cheap aircraft. It has to get in close range, but it's got plenty of missiles. It's decent. Compare that to its superior cousin. Just completely outstrips it in every single regard. Good, good. See, this is what happens when we go through all the troops and make sure we don't pick out stuff that's crap. Should I do the double Air Force again? We are pretty low. We are pretty damn low on AA for dedicated anti-fighter support. So we're only going to get one B5 as our main kind of aircraft bomber. Everything else I'm going to try to dedicate to shoot stuff out of the sky. Helicopters are going to be kind of just light. As it should be. PTZ 89 to supplement our mechanized force. Okay. Descent. Descent. Okay, so we are a little light on the AA, but we're definitely a pretty strong on the ground force. So this will definitely be an interesting deck to play with for sure. Let's do the Navy tab. And we don't really have much aircraft or dedicated AA. We can't really support our ships. So I am actually inclined to neglect the ship in place of getting, hang on, artillery anti-ship. We'll just get all of these guys. Trained, and we definitely want to do some kind of support. Muskets? No, that's coast. So we've got, we could get Super Pumas. Thinking about supply. Super Pumas are kind of expensive that way. No, Uh, this is kind of difficult. Don't usually have to change up my tab very much. Musket. Yeah, I said those were coaster. We definitely want to get Muna if we're going to help support any allies with ship supplies. Kobar missiles. Is there any napalm? Bubble Box has been turned on to napalm ships recently. No, not really. No. We are going to stick with just a land-based anti-ship group. We need supply. And this is kind of the best supply we can get for the ground. So we are going to get some Munas. Okay. Alright, that'll be interesting. Okay, so this is our Red Dragon Mechanized Deck. I haven't made one. It's definitely going to be an interesting fight to play with this deck, given that we have a lot of artillery, start infantry. But I do hope to show this off to you guys. As I said, this has been recommended several times. And so here it is. And if you have any other decks you guys want me to play, please post them down in the comments down below. And I'll be happy to try and make them for you. And then, of course, you guys can watch me get my ass kicked as I try to play with them. Alright, well, thank you all so much for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you all in the next video.